Oh, we're starting now. That's a good way to start the podcast, isn't it? Let me start that. As it started. Yeah. Oh, that bit's missed off. Welcome to the programme, if you're here. Welcome. That heater's warm, isn't it?
It's throwing some heat out.
I'll take my jumper
Welcome
off.
to winter.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You hate winter? Why?
Because I don't like the cold.
But you used to play winter rugby.
Yeah,
The wrong one. Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know why.
I used to train on nights like this when the
Yeah,
temperatures drop into minus whatever.
Yeah, I used to have a
and
little
stuff.
cry every time I did as well.
But you're back from holiday,
I am.
looking very healthy.
Thanks. Do you mean tanned?
I do mean so.
Got a little bit of colour. Just looking at my next one, if you know. Now I'm not a teacher. The world's my oyster. Literally.
So where did you go? Athens?
Yes, I did.
A marathon?
Yes. Saw the Olympic sites, saw the Acropolis. Had a little wander around. Was going to extend my trip and try and be one of those solo nomads. But I decided to come back. And I think I might try Marrakesh in a couple of weeks when it gets really cold. Because Marrakesh is just about to hit 30 degrees.
Bit hippie.
That's me.
I'm not paid by the Tourist Board of Mallorca yet, but I'd recommend Mallorca.
Well,
We've got a beach rugby tournament coming up in May, you know.
But it's the same time as Magic Week.
Well, you'll probably get freebies there, won't you?
Hey, is my new role? I'd hope so.
Welcome to the programme. It's 4020 Live. Philly's here.
I am here.
Also here, someone who's looking forward to waking up to 6 inches in the morning. Buckled up the joke already.
Hey!
Stefan Capreme. Danica, you're back.
The soon-to-be Vice
I can
President
say
of the
last
Rugby
time,
Football League.
last time you were here, you weren't, and that was a long time ago now. But now you are. Well, you're going to be.
January the 1st.
Do we have to be? What are we to the Royals?
Hey, stop. Don't do that.
Deferential, submissive?
Yeah.
Not submissive, is it?
Well,
That's not the word. No.
That's something else. But
That's certainly something we can't talk about on the podcast. That we'll have to talk about afterwards. But
Why not?
because we don't want you to get in trouble. I mean, they can take our accreditation away. That's fine. I mean, they
Yeah,
don't.
but surely as
'cause
Vice President, I'll be like, give them it back.
I
but you don't have any
decree-
power, though. This is the thing. People think you've got no power. You realise?
Oh no, I've already had loads of
Can you do
inboxes, messages from people complaining about stuff, and I'm like, firstly, I'm not Vice President yet. Secondly, can't do much about it. Well, if you're bothered, why don't you email the RFL?
How are you going to share the chains? That's the only thing.
Yeah.
You and Stephen Wild, one set of chains.
No idea.
And what happens if the president himself gets in trouble? Because he's got a TV programme and he does like controversial jokes and stuff.
I know.
Right?
Yes, gets
Yeah.
extradited.
Do you take over or you mate? What happens?
I think we just rock, paper, scissors it.
Yeah. One does
Who's
one
gonna
event, one
argue
does the
with
other. Will you have? There's a president's ball, isn't the film?
Yes.
Can you get us an invite?
Yeah, you can be my plus 1 and 2.
Oh,
1.5.
which one's which?
I'm half. In so many ways.
Oh, this is why you're not allowed on all the time, because it just descends into chaos. Because
Whoa,
we can't be
we haven't even
trusted.
started
We
a
can't be
proper
trusted.
Because you're more
Yeah.
professional with everybody else and you're just not with me. Look,
Professional.
I'm back where I belong. Do you know what I mean? I'm back where it all began.
Yeah.
So I know.
It never says that in any articles about you, though.
What?
That this is where you.
Chicken's still here.
I always say this is where I
You
started.
might say, but people edit it out because they don't like
Yeah,
us.
look, Salford chick, I left her here. She's
I know,
looking
remember that.
she's looking a bit like
Bedraggled.
I did. Look, before I went away.
Who's your favourite club at the moment then? Salford because they gave you a chick, Lee because they gave you a hat, or York because they... Well,
Oh no, it's none of the above. Hull KR. Come on, get with the programme.
I can't remember if we like Hull KR or not. I can never
Yeah,
remember.
we do.
Do we?
Yeah.
I really do. They're my favourite.
Of all the Hull
favourite-
teams,
My favourite team on the east side of the country.
not Gull.
No.
You'll be there in
You
your
might be
official
there for the first
capacity.
game.
Yeah, you'll be cutting a ribbon.
Listen,
or
I
something.
can't comment on goal yet, can I? Because I haven't really been over and seen them. But
Will you be doing the draw at some point for the Challenge Cup?
Yeah.
I don't know any of this.
I don't know.
I've
We've got so many questions.
I've
that
got
you
no
won't answer
power.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
but
got
you're
to
like-
talk to the BBC. Ali McIntyre and Sally Richardson, who are in charge of the BBC coverage of both, have gone from the BBC. So it's a new team. So basically, I've got to go butter up Matt Griffiths and say nice things about him, and then we'll go.
You
from there.
need to go to Dallas, though. Las Vegas.
Oh, I do.
Danica does Dallas.
That's a different program altogether. together.
Chaos.
Las
Vegas.
Vegas. For
I
the
love-
Gillaroos and...
Yeah, Adam can't make Vegas.
So you'd be going there in as his
Official
yeah.
and broadcasting capacity.
Yeah, I've spoke to Vossi. I said, Vossi, let Fox know if they need some knowledge.
Vossi.
Me and my pal. But then, obviously, Fox are like, we're not going to cover all four because we can't afford to do that. No. So
Is he going now? Or is he doing it remotely?
I don't know. Nobody knows anything yet. It's, yeah, we've got 3-4 months, haven't we?
Plenty of time.
Far too in advance.
Plenty of time.
But it would be great. Do you know, it's one of those things that I might look into going regardless, just because now I'm not teaching. It's one of those where I spend the year just go wild.
I'm honestly going to
travel the world.
Vegas.
I'm going to travel the world.
So
the RFL's,
Amsterdam in January with Hull KR,
yeah.
favourite team.
Yeah.
And
Las Vegas with the Gillaroos.
I like how I say the Gillaroos.
And England.
Magic weekend now at the beginning of May.
Yeah.
On the bank holiday.
Newcastle.
Yes, can't wait.
Back. See, that's your diary's already full.
Wembley.
The Ashes test that haven't been officially confirmed or anything.
Oh, you'll be leading the team out.
Yeah. You'd be shaking hands with all the people. You'd be in the tunnel shaking hands.
Why?
Well, Wembley you shake hands with. They come out with the chains, don't they? Claire Balding did it the other year. I know she was like the top one, but it's still the same thing. So people can now, they'll see you on social media.
Make sure Adam's
shaking
in
hands.
Australia
Make sure you're wearing
at the Challenge Cup's on and you'll get to meet the team.
Make sure you're in a decent frock, otherwise people will complain on social media.
Or even give away the cup.
Right, we're getting ahead of ourselves now, aren't we? We're getting a bit giddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the RFL listens to this programme.
I think if the day that I wear the chains, my friends will never let me live it down.
Then you've got to run for office as a mayor somewhere, because they always get chains.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we just need to...
Mayor of Haworth.
Or like Wetwang, where Richard Whiteley was the mayor.
Well, there's rugby league history, isn't there, Mayor of Haworth?
Is there?
Yeah.
Mr. Huxley.
Yeah. John Huxley, famous rugby league journalist, former Mayor of Haworth.
Well, these are all things that we can think about later on in life than maybe in the next 2 years. Got a whole 2 years to fill, guys, you know what I mean? But we're just here to promote the sport and let it grow. Grassroots, community clubs.
So you'll be handing out medals at someone under 7s.
When it's minus 12 at
Post Office Road.
Some East Yorkshire community ground, and you'll be there.
I've got a big coat and some mug boots.
Have we paid for that? Is that paid for by, when people get fined, when they get sent off and do naughty things, does that pay for RFL coat? Do you get a coat allowance? Is this to be discussed? You don't get anything?
I don't get anything. What I get is...
No stash.
What I got was... It was really nice that Tony Sutton came up and said...
Do you get one of those England water bottles that they all got from...
I've got one anyway, the white ones. I nearly brought it tonight as well for you. The white
When you say
ones.
for me, you don't mean to give, you mean just to put on the table, that's what you mean.
No, you could have had it. It's great, it's a proper thermos one as well, it's really snazzy.
The thing is, you offered me one of your shirts once and I turned it down, so I'm like...
Do you want a shirt?
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be seen to be biased.
What, because it's Leeds or England?
Well, I've got a Leeds shirt though, look.
Aye. Fun.
I was going to ask you something. I've completely forgot because
it's just chaos. This is why we're not allowed to do this programme together.
Once a blue moon.
Well, yeah, I know. I did say to someone the other day, you should do a podcast. Everyone else has done a podcast. You should do a podcast. I don't know what you're doing. I
get banned straight away.
What, just in general? Well, don't talk about rugby only. Just talk about anything.
Yeah, no, but I'd want to talk about
gossip and scandal. Well, this is why, you see, this is why you have to have professional broadcasters on these things, despite the fact that people think, what? I've been doing this 22 years, vague idea of media law and stuff.
No, I think you'd make it more interesting. You want to know the real stories, don't you? You want to know who's transferred where and who's done what.
Yeah, but you can't do this.
What we think about the transfers.
You have to do swearing instead, like the Charrington sisters just started the podcast.
Yes.
Have you heard it?
No.
Needs a bit of production on it.
Well.
Or bleeping. One of them.
No, I mean, swearing's fine, but it's just...
as long as it's not gratuitous.
Yeah. We don't swear often, do we?
Much.
No.
Not
on air.
No.
What have you been up to since we last saw you then? Apart from your holidays in rugby league, have you done anything exciting in rugby league? Was there anything? Oh, that's the Woman of Steel. You're on the panel for that.
I was on the
and the Golden
Boot.
Yeah,
I was on the Man of Steel, Woman of Steel, and Golden Boot panels. Thank you.
Not on the Wheel of Steel.
No, my expertise was exhausted in the others. No, so on the Golden Boot is currently, we've shortlisted.
And we have to wait until next week after the
Yes.
wheelchair
Beginning
games,
of December.
because the wheelchair people decided we'll have some games late on, so you have to wait now.
Well, there's also South Africa
And
against
South Africa.
the USA.
Are
But
there
I
any
don't
South
think
Africans in the USA on
I
the
don't think
shortlist?
that's going to impact on the Golden Boot. It is on the world rankings, which
Can
is due out middle of December.
can you say to International Rugby League, because you've got power, that they need to give out the Golden Boots 2020 and 2021?
Also, you think I've got power?
You're on the committee.
I'm not on the committee.
What?
There's 3 of us on the panel.
Panel, committee.
How easy is it then to
Semantics.
select? I mean, the long lists were long,
Yes. So I
which
think
actually is quite good because
it was
gives,
nice to get every nation involved.
particularly Samoa, who had a really
Yeah.
good women's.
And I think it was important to
Pacific
highlight
Championship.
players from each nation, because at the end of the day, whether they're the top 3 or not, they've played for their country. And the fact that we've had such a massive, that's been the difficult part. That there's been that many internationals this year, which has been absolutely amazing. Just a lot of early mornings, a lot of recordings and re-watchings, because I like to watch
have
it.
a question about the Golden Boot,
Yes.
because Mr. Voss himself was very critical of the long lists,
Right.
saying that you didn't need to do enough to get on it and therefore it devalues it.
Right.
But is there a weighting for the standard of opposition that you play? Because clearly, even on the now shortlist of 6, some players have performed at a level of excellence against the very best in the world. Some players have performed exceptionally well against opposition that they should beat. So their performances individually might have been better,
I
but
think
in a
you're
lower
overthinking
quality
it.
of game.
It's not, well, for the women's anyway, it's not that deep. It literally is.
So what's your thought process then?
So they wanted to try and get somebody from every nation. It wasn't a necessity, but I basically put forward who I thought was best in across the each game. And obviously with the Pacific Championship, who was good consistently from each nation.
Yeah.
And then from that list, we've had to shortlist it, and we all kind of came up with different combinations.
You do a 3-2-1.
Yes.
Ted Rogers.
Yeah. So different combinations. So the shortlist is much more based on, I think, performance. Like, it's hard, isn't it? Because England had that game against France, which is hard to remember unless you go back and watch it. Australia are outstanding anyway, so there's a couple of Kiwis that possibly could have been on it, but the shortlist is much more thought about than the longer list. I think it was just nice to highlight people from each nation.
Yeah.
Like look at Wales and like Bethan Dainton, who was outstanding for her the team itself. Like, England didn't get down the middle of that Wales team because the forwards are so good, but Bethan, I think, has been outstanding, and she was very good in the qualifiers as well. So she's had a good international period as well as a good domestic season as well. So I thought it was it's nice that she got.
And good publicity for Wales Rugby League.
It's massive, yeah, and I think, I think that what I really like about them is the score obviously was pretty horrific for them, but that's not Tom's plan. The head coach Tom's plan is the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time they'd been in camp and got a coach to a stadium. I know it doesn't sound like much, but in terms of prep, it's that prep on the coach. It's the longer prep and the meeting before and having some time together.
Just being in camp.
Yeah, it's huge. And 2 of the Wales girls cancelled their holidays or shot the holidays so they can make it into camp. And, there's 2 million more people in Yorkshire than there is in the whole of Wales. So in terms of selection and getting people together, and Tom's fighting against Wales Rugby Union, who've just invested 1.5 million into the women's game.
Well, I mean, some would say
And they're
that's
still-
a bloody bit too late for Wales.
But
Rugby Union.
are
They're
they
still pretty crap,
are
aren't
they
they?
in the Women's World Cup? Wales? Do they qualify for that? I don't.
They made it into the WX2, which is the division down from the top flight of international.
So they're better than the men then.
I think Wales in general's on a bit of a run, innit? Whereas Wales Rugby League seems to be pushing through to fight against the Rugby Union, but seems to be progressing.
Well, we can talk about Rugby Union in a minute.
Yeah.
In the so without giving anything away, and it may not be decided yet who has won the Golden Boot. It may still be in your committee to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be surprised if an Australian didn't win the men's and the women's Golden Boot?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
See, here's a different question. If the Golden Boot was, as it was, for the best player in the world, who is the best player in the world in your opinion? Not on anything...
Male or female?
Well, both.
Because I think it's Isaiah Yeo for the men.
He's been phenomenal, hasn't
Because
he?
for what he's done with Penrith, what he's done with New South Wales, and what he's now done with captain in Australia, I just don't think... I don't know if he's going to get the Golden Boot. I know he's on the shortlist. I would be amazed if anybody could put forward a case for anyone other than him as being the best in his position in the world and having had the most success among those who are also on the list.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I'm not on the men's Golden Boot panel, but I do agree he's been phenomenal. And I love watching the NRL anyway. So he's just outstanding, isn't he?
Is there anybody of comparable dominance in the women's game at the moment?
I think Taryn Aiken's probably is up there. Tamika Upton's had a really good season. They're probably up there for me in terms of...
And to be honest,
it's a different question, isn't it?
Well, no, but if you were talking about who is the best player in the game this year and who is the best international player, it would be the same person. So again, I don't see how the Golden Boot is devalued.
Because we want it to be devalued so we can moan about it.
No.
So, got a podcast to sell.
I want it to all be
list,
nice and happy. And
yeah, the long list is interesting because I think, again, it needs to be made clear that the long list isn't necessarily about the best player overall. It's about the best players in each of the nations that have played. And there should be a longer time between the long list coming out and the short list. The short list.
But it's like the Women of Steel. Like last year, we shortlisted 5 or 6 players. And this year they want us to be in line with the men, so we only have to shortlist 3.
And then the
wheelchair,
which then wheelchair. But however,
that's a fiefdom of its own.
But then I felt bad, even though we'd kind of had a generalised idea who the top 3 were anyway. In our top 5, there were people that I think would have been worthy of having a mention of being on the shortlist. Do you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
Like Anna Davis has been outstanding. But again, is she? You go back to that point of she's in a progressing team playing against really hard teams and doing really well, versus somebody like Leah Burke, bless her, who is outstanding in the top team but playing there for lesser people. Do you know?
Yeah.
So where are them two? And they're only couple of tries difference in overall. I think they're both similar, both very dangerous. I'd say that Anna Davis this season maybe been a bit snappy for me. However, Leah Burke, bless her with the injuries and stuff. So is that the same kind of comparable thing you make in sense of who's actually had the hardest season?
At that England-Wales game, you were doing the getting in the way of people in the warm-up thing.
Yeah.
And when you finished that, you had to go back to the studio, and I saw you running.
Yes.
Was that the fastest you've run at Headingley? What?
Oh, bitch.
I mean, the answer's yes, obviously. But
no, I think you find in 2018, when the day I snapped my ACL, I was having a right game. I set up 3 tries.
Yeah, but no one
day.
was watching women's rugby then. So
No, but
so it's
I was a lot fitter. I was probably about 25 kilos lighter as well.
I've told you we were going to interview you at the Challenge Cup final, haven't I, before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have interviewed me at Challenge Cup.
No, but I mean the 2018 one. We were going to try and get you in. You know when we did it on the BBC.
Yeah.
But I was too scared to come over and ask you for an interview.
Oh, you don't like when people say they're scared. I'm not a scary person.
No, I'm scared.
Now you know me.
Daniel Anderson was scary.
Yeah. Well, that's just his opinion.
You preferred Daniel Anderson.
I was sent Tom over to get you, but I think he was busy actually doing work.
I was probably crying.
Well, breaking news coming up at 7, by the way, so stay tuned for that.
From when?
From Rugby
what
League.
time?
7 o'clock.
Oh, 7. Right.
So we've got to go on to at least 7 today. Wires Up TV says, question for the panel. Having told us to saying big up the panel. Big up yourself, Wires TV. Question for the panel. Where will the men's and women's World Series be played? Will it be attached onto the Pacific Championships next year? Could have Cook Islands, France, South Africa and Jamaica down under. Do we know where it is from?
I think you'll find there's a board meet. The next board meeting
is it in
of
Singapore?
The IRL. It will be discussed. But no, it won't be part of the Pacific Championships. I think it'll be a standalone event. I think the men's and the women's will also be apart from each other because of the different nations. I think, no great exclusive, South Africa have applied to host it, which is why South Africa's international coming up in December against the USA is possibly a test run for that.
It's my favourite accent in the world.
I think Kenya have also expressed an
South
interest.
Africa?
Yeah.
You have to go as a chains and everything.
Do you know what? If they need somebody to go, take them for the team. Do you know what I mean? I'm a team player, guys.
I also think I'd be very surprised, and this again is without any prior knowledge. I think Ireland are quite interested in hosting it as well if they can get the right venues.
It's expensive though, Dublin.
Dublin is, yeah.
Well,
Dublin,
but they're not
Dublin would be
based
worse
in
than
Dublin,
Vegas.
the Ireland Rugby League.
Yeah, but they would do, wouldn't they? Dublin would be worse than Vegas for me. I love Dublin.
Irish accents as well, or just
Yeah, I don't mind the Irish accent, yeah. Quite like an accent, just in general. Just not the Yorkshire one.
This embargo of news is not going to come as a shock, is it?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. But
I don't think we need to hold up the programme for the embargo.
Yeah, but it's just if it gets to 7 o'clock and we remember.
If.
Well,
We
no,
got
when
to
we
7
get,
o'clock last week, we had nothing to talk
when
about.
we get to 7 o'clock and remember. So was that it wasn't the fastest you ran then?
No, I didn't even realise. It wasn't until the camera op said to me, he was like, "You're on in a minute," and I was like, "Oh!" But then I have to change my battery packs over. But luckily, Carl, who was the camera op, then he had my back and he got the sound to change me over quickly. And then I ran down, and then I was like, and then you have a minute and a half, 2 minutes of titles and intros, don't you?
Breathe. Well, you're fit, Tommy.
I mean,
that would have been me running.
There was a mild panic, and then I was like, oh, I didn't even need to worry about that.
I had a bad day at the England-Wales game because I was stood with my nephew for it and I was explaining things to him because he doesn't know much about women's rugby and he found out that I don't know anything either because I said...
What? About women's rugby or rugby in general?
Oh, it's a bit harsh.
15 all.
No, but
like being the
he doesn't
umpire
know much
here.
about women's rugby.
No, well, I don't
If you know much about rugby, women's is the same, it's just played with boobs.
Is it? So I said to my nephew, Anna Davis, she won't score any tries because she won't get any service from her centre unless she scored 5, didn't she? So that worked out well.
I know, but 3 of them come from Izzy Rowe and Jodie, didn't they?
Oh, so I was right then.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, guys. I mean, my theory was right, but the end result wasn't right. Did you enjoy the game? That was the last time we saw England playing. Was I unfair when I said Australia will win by 50? I didn't mean it disrespectfully.
No, it's not disrespectful. I think the way that if anybody's watched the NRL and watched Australia play in this series at all, I think, and I said this to some people at the RFL, a success to me for the England's girls would be keeping the score within 40 or 50 points. Now that might sound ridiculously harsh. I think that the Wales game, in the sense of how quick they started, gave me a bit more faith. I said this before the Wales game. And I was a little bit worried about the selection in terms of how many debutantes he had. Again, proven wrong, which I love. I much prefer to be proven wrong, and it's stuff like that. I thought Izzy Rowe was outstanding. I thought the girls that came on and either had one game or were debutantes, I think, were better than the older girls. Jodie Cunningham in the middle again just was relentless, and I think her work rate sometimes goes unnoticed because she's so consistent.
Yeah.
My only fear about Vegas is, A, it's a big flight and it's a big camp. B, I don't care who you are, how old you are, what experience you've got. Walking out against the Aussies is horrendous, which I think is where the likes of Emily Rudge, who might not have got a chance to play that Wales game, whether you think she's the best second row or she's not, her experience and her composure in big games is second to none. And I think they need that because the likes of Jodie, she's a captain, so she's got a bigger picture to think about. Amy Hardcastle, Shona Hoyle, they are more insular in terms of their own preparation, so probably don't look at the wider team. Emily Rudge is so comfortable in that situation, in that environment. She looks after, and she's not motherly, and I don't mean she looks after people like that, but she's just so aware of the size of the game, the how the girls will be feeling. She's been playing international rugby since she was 16.
It's going to be different now playing in Vegas in front of possibly 55,000, 60,000
I can't even comprehend it.
This thing, it's not like, and this is the same for Wigan and Warrington as well. I know they play at Wembley, and the women play at Wembley now. They play at Old Trafford, and they play at
Magic Weekend.
Magic Weekend in Newcastle, Ellen Road, whatever. But going out of the Leeds Stadium, which is a state-of-the-art, brand new, pretty much facility, is going to be a whole different kettle of fish for Wigan and Warrington, let alone England's women and
that's the thing and I think in terms of skill, I probably did them a disservice because I thought I know the score was big and they probably didn't have the competition against Wales that they needed, but they could have gone white line fever and they could have thrown everything out the pan, but they played to structure. The odd 1 or 2 times, maybe not, but I think that England played to structure, and I think they looked. It's the best I've seen them play.
They were great at the start of the second half because 34-0 up at half time, you could have eased off.
Well, that's it. But exactly
they scored, was it 3 tries in about 8 minutes at the start of the second
and
half? That's pretty ruthless.
And that's what gave me a bit of faith. They looked fit, they looked healthy. That Stu Barrow's getting them into camp. You know, they're going to be consistently training from December all the way through to March.
Which the Aussies aren't. Could that be an advantage?
Yeah, and it's exactly that. So it's about, so the Aussies are naturally pretty fit, but that's where the girls need to then push on.
Would you play 70 or 80 minutes? Would you be lobbying to say, actually, it's in our interest to play 70 in this respect?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that last 10 or 5 of each half, whatever you want to call it, is where things fall apart. And the girls, are really strong, really good. They're fit enough to play half an hour, like at a really fast pace. And the Aussies will bring the pace, regardless of whether they've been in training or not. So maybe I did them a disservice. However, I think it's the environment and the size of it. And they're playing 3rd out of the 4 games.
I have no idea.
So I think it's Wigan, Warrington, and NRL, England, Oz, NRL.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. I've heard that somewhere. So at which point the stadium will be full. And I've also heard that the stadium's not allowed in and out. So once you're in, you're in. So maybe the Wigan Warrington game won't be as full.
Because people want to get cheap food elsewhere rather than...
Well, no, because it's 4 games.
It's a long time. Well, Magic Weekend is long.
Yeah, but Magic Weekend you can go out and around and come back in again.
Yeah, and then realise there's nothing outside and go straight back in.
So unless they change the rule of the stadium, I don't think people will commit to going to the Wigan Warrington as early.
They might allow them out into the fan zone. I don't think...
Yeah. So
there isn't anything much around the stadium anyway.
Yeah, so I don't really know. But so you're looking at the match before... You're sandwiched between 2 NRL games. Holy... Nah, not even I will be able to... If and when...
Because you're Mrs. Confident. You're like the most confident person.
And Penrith are one of the teams. Can you imagine if you're...
I'm going to manifest this. When I am stood in that stand, I will get nervous and excited for the girls. You know, and I'm old and past it now. Never mind being 18, 17, walking out, A, in America, B, to that size of stadium, and C, to play the Australians, who you know are literally...
Well, we haven't played for a dog's age. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that we might have brought the skill, and there's a lot of... In terms of... We might be able to match them a little bit more in terms of on-field skill, but I just think the Aussie girls are used to playing in that kind of, huge arena.
Just on the Aussies, Ashes series at the end of the year, you'll be meeting the teams again. Mr. Yeo, good to see you.
Give him a kick and all that,
It's going to be over here for the men. Nobody's saying at the moment what it's going to be for the women, but how important for the women's game would it be if we had a 3-match Ashes series here? It might not necessarily be double headers everywhere, but even... I
think it should be, though.
Well, it would be great if it was, but...
And especially with the investment of coming from London and whatever that might be, and again, playing in big stadiums, playing in front of relatively bigger crowds.
But what would it do for the women's game if it's on BBC, England, Australia, 3-match series? I don't think it matters even if they lose it 3-0. The fact is that they would be at a higher level than they are at the moment in preparation for them going over there for the World Cup.
So you look at, I think the statistics are, like the eyes on the Wales-England game, a player shirt was worth, in terms of eyes on investments versus what potential, the growth is something like £2,000-3,000 per shirt.
So that's why Ed got involved.
Yeah, so... Yeah, eyes on that. So, which the girls don't see anything of, because it doesn't always turn into investment. It doesn't always turn into money. But that's the potential eyes on versus viewers. So imagine that, but on as soon as you see England Australia, you often don't really care who it is. You just say, "Oh, England Australia, always a big clash." And even if you switch on for 10 minutes, that's 10 more minutes than you would have done. So I think for me that the exposure will be huge, and particularly if it's a BBC Sky Sports thing, as long, the broadcasting's done really well.
at Wembley for the first one.
Stop it. Do you know what I mean? When they asked me to be vice president, I was a little bit like, oh, that's a big job. I'd like, not big job in the sense of I've got lots to do, but in the sense of like title, and I'm a very opinionated person, and I was a bit worried. And then Adam Hills went, yeah, Danica, it's Vegas, Ashes and World Cup, and I was like, oh, okay.
free meals, swag.
No, I was happy to do it, but that wasn't also a push. So like, I'm just as excited to be involved in it anyway. But yeah, it will be massive. It'll be massive. To get the girls over here as well would be huge.
So you see her running across the pitch at Wembley, chains on, meeting the teams, chains off, running to the BBC.
Is this like, Donald Trump is putting his cabinet together?
Is he?
Can we like become part of your cabinet, vice president's cabinet?
I'd have to speak to Adam about that. He's the boss.
Yeah, well, I've only spoken to him once, so I don't really know him. So,
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, if you could give us what job titles could we do?
But he's only here for 6 months of the year, isn't he? So you are going to be doing a lot of...
Well, between myself and
Steve now.
Stephen. Pal, old buddy.
You enjoying the TV stuff still?
Yeah, I love it.
You didn't like the post-match interviews, which is the worst interviews to do, because you can only ask like 3 questions. How do you feel about the game?
Do you know what?
It was rubbish. What about the ref? That's not your voice, by the way.
I think it was mocking me a little bit there.
What do you think about their game?
No, do you know what? That's tested me this season, because it's not as simple as people think. So throughout the game, obviously, you guys know what you're doing, but I'm still... I love Sky, because they just went, no yes or no answers, 90 seconds.
No yes or no answers, Phil. Remind me to remember that.
Don't be shit.
Yeah, when you're talking to someone.
So, and to come across, and because I've been interviewed after games when I've lost and when you've won, you've also got an idea of what, like, you've got more.
That must have been me.
I quite like our post-match interviews, but there's a somewhat not
a
great respect.
When you put a proper journalist.
No, but I don't think it's not respect as such. It's also like, would I want to be asked a question like that? So I'm more conscious about, even though there's things like, even you've got people in the air going, ask this, and I'm like,
I think the worst thing you can do is interview people when they've lost, because you've got nothing to ask them.
Well, one of my second attempts at doing reporting was Matty Pete, when it was the Hull KR Wigan game and they got absolutely trounced. And I was like, the pre-match stuff, which is really good because you can review it and you can research it. And it was like, oh, you've just been compared to Jurgen Klopp and you just signed this big new deal. And afterwards I was like, oh, you're a bit shit then, weren't you? Like, the tone changes as well. And that's, and you just don't want to be... and also my track record with the Wigan fans, you've got to be careful, haven't I?
They're liking it, are you still...
No.
Because you were there at the second test.
No.
First test. Was it first test?
Yeah.
First test.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm trying to, creep my way in there, but there's still the odd couple that... I just don't get it.
The internet doesn't forget. That's the problem.
When you follow me and you like my stuff and then you whinge about me, I've just got an opinion. But the thing is with me now, because I know that they get wound up really easily, I like to stir the pot a bit. Yeah. And they bite every time. It's like, I caught a big one.
That's reminding me I've not set up a burner account on Blue Sky to wind people up yet. I may or may not have them on Twitter.
But in terms of the TV stuff, I think... And I don't know if you know, but I went to the Olympics.
Did you?
I've got
you kept that very
quiet. I've got... Right, well, if you guys went, you would also be the same. I've got such a greater respect for the production team, because I was at the Olympics.
That's because that's where the talent is.
No, you're not allowed to call talent anymore, actually.
I'm saying they are the talent.
Oh, they are the hardest
not
working...
the people who stand in front and go, welcome to the telly.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. They're the hardest working.
For no recognition.
Give production assistants Gary Lineker's wages. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
And vision mixers.
Just vision mixers.
Yeah.
What about EVS? What about PAs, directors?
I said production assistants.
Yeah. Well, so I've got a great respect for them, which means a lot of the team that I went to the Olympics with also work on the Rugby League as freelance. So every time I turn up now,
happy coincidence, yeah.
Yeah, every time I turn up to... There's no coincidence about it. Nev Smith put together a really, really great team. And he handpicked people he knew would get on. And that's what made it so great. But it's now I can walk into the trucks. Or I can... The camera ops and, I love turning up now to an OB because there's so many people that I want to be around. There's lots of people I like spending time with.
And there's Marks and Spencer sandwiches in the fridge.
Yeah.
Well, there is that.
But the food at Wigan was terrible.
That's BBC. Sky.
I can't believe they let you pick up a camera at the Olympics. I thought, hell.
Hey, I picked up a camera at Magic
They cost
Weekend.
a fortune, those things.
Yeah, and the ones at the Olympics were like 5Ks heavier than the ones that they use on Sky.
See, the microphone here, this is not one of those proper podcasting huge microphones. I'll pay 15 quid off eBay.
Nice.
But it works.
But yeah, and also, yeah.
Unless John Davidson's in here,
Yeah,
in which case it doesn't.
Underneath Australian.
He doesn't need a microphone, does he?
No.
Built-in megaphone.
Yeah. But yeah, I still love it. I think it's brilliant. But I'd like to be either side. I like being on the TV, it's great, but I don't do it for the clout. I just like to be involved in any way, shape or form. It's good people. There's really good people that do it, and that's what makes it so much fun.
There's loads of good people in the Rugby League reader in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite what you've read in the paper, everyone's sick, a sycophant apparently.
Of what?
Really?
Yeah. To the party line.
Sycophant of whom?
Who runs the RFL at the minute?
Who does? That's a very good question.
Tony Sutton, that's his name.
He does.
IMG. Sorry, IMG.
Yeah.
IMG.
So
Would
get
like
involved in
to.
these conversations.
Do you get to meet IMG? What's your bottle?
I don't know if you know, but I work at the Olympics. It's a very good water bottle.
Are you going to be doing like the Winter Olympics? Do you know anything about curling or ice hockey or something?
Love curling.
Everyone loves curling every 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love curling.
I mean, in fairness,
Slalom.
I imagine we could probably get into the English curling team with a bit of
Speed
practice,
skating.
but it's all Scottish, isn't it? So we could probably,
Have you ever tried curling?
No,
It's
but
absolutely rock hard. It's brilliant, but it's solid. I tried bobsleighing once when I was like 16. Scariest thing I ever
was
did.
that good? No,
It's just so scary.
not the luge or the.
No, I'd probably have.
starting.
Do you know? I'd probably have more guts to do it now than I would do when I was a little bit pathetic.
Well, now you're fearless now, aren't you? Because you're
I'm old, so I'm a bit more precious. But
old. You're the youngest person here.
I know, but I feel like just turned 40.
Yeah, the median average is pretty high.
Only 44. Not that old.
You know, you're not much older than me. You just keep
I'm just having
claiming that
I'm
you
having
are.
a midlife crisis. Look at my hair. Or it's been longer before. I don't know. It's not 7 o'clock yet, so we can't tell you the embargo news. What's happened in the news this week, Phil, in
Well,
Rugby
it's
League?
the
I
big
can't
game
imagine.
yesterday.
Oh yeah, the big game
It's all
yesterday.
about the big game yesterday.
Don't worry, we'll talk about Hull in a bit. Because I can't believe what happened at Hull. I can't believe that we said something on this podcast months ago. Because Brian Carney said it on the telly and it turned out to happen. I can't believe it.
Whoa!
I know.
Calm yourself down.
I was only copying Brian Carney.
Yeah, no, but
I don't have an
he didn't get in
original
trouble for it, though, did he?
We might have done.
I don't know. I only seen once he at the launch and he says hello and I say hello back.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I like all the people who remember what my name is, like Brian Carney and Brian McDermott, and that's about it.
I remember your name.
Well, you do, yeah, but
Oh, I'm not big time enough for you, sorry. When I've got my change, and I'll remember. Don't you
I'm
worry.
not getting that shirt now, am I?
No.
I'll bring you some Olympic top trumps if you want on Friday.
Pardon?
I've got some Olympic top trumps if you want them. How's the top trump things? When are you out?
I don't know.
Did you have that giant top trump at the Magic Week?
Was it for
Yeah.
Christmas?
Yes, I think it's the winter edition. Yeah, that was crazy. Cool, but crazy. I'm a top trump.
They say we haven't spoken about this, have we? This is so long ago now. I'd forgotten.
Yeah, there's
about
loads that's happened this year. They've just not been on, have they?
Aye.
You never want me on.
That's not true. That is not true.
She's catching them all today.
I don't want to message you every
Like
week saying,
Pokemon.
joke about the podcast, joke about the podcast. It's fear of rejection.
No way.
Should we talk about yesterday or Hull? Because we get Hull out of the way. Get Hull out of the
I'm
way.
not sure there's a lot to say.
Well, there isn't,
about
is
Hull.
there? They've got new investment. Oh, what a surprise. Who knew? The stories that talk about it and don't mention the elephant in the room are poor, by the way. But if you do mention it, then...
Isn't yeah.
Because what did you teach at school?
Maths and PE.
So if 2 + 2 = 4, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it always equals 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
There's, you know what I mean? It's black and white. There's right and wrong.
Black and white.
It is
Well,
black and white.
Exactly.
Yeah, irregular
that's
hoops.
what I like
Yeah.
And right and wrong, and there's some rights and wrongs, isn't there? So
Don't know upset Hull.
you were right.
They've
Well,
got-
I mean, hardly the biggest prediction we ever made, that one, I don't think. But, you know.
There's some validation going, isn't there? Some
it just
validation.
depends where it goes from here. But I suspect that the fans are a little happier of Hull
Well,
FC. That
now
there's
they're
some
going to be
stability.
they're going to be
and-
better than Wakefield now, because Wakefield are the current rich people, and now Hull have got more money, so they're going to be better than Wakefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not a great battle. But all they want to be is better than Hull KR. But unfortunately, Hull KR have got tenure at the minute, and they've got.
I do
squad,
think it's quite funny at the moment that the Hull and Hull KR clubs are vying with each other to say who's got the more season ticket holders. That is a little bit like a weeing up the wall.
We're back to that again, aren't we? We're back to that again.
We've got 6,000. Oh, we've got 7,500. We've got 8.
No,
We've got 9.
I assume that doesn't happen in women's rugby.
It's great. It's great for Hull KR, by the way, that they have got the most they've ever had season ticket holders. Is it 9,500? Which is virtually the ground's capacity. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I think, but that's a club that have progressed steadily. Like there's been no huge investment. There's been no change.
There have been some new people come on the board who have money.
Yes, I mean, but not as in like huge. You know, like in the fans forum the other day, there was like we are investing substantial amounts of money into this club. Okay, by stating that, the expectation now is insanely high.
Yeah, but who are they going to buy? Who's out there?
Well, no, but the other thing that Hull KR have very cleverly done is use the best of their asset, which they have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they've got their 3G pitch, and obviously they've built and renovated a stand, and they're still looking now to the land that is around that they own, and that's part of the reason why investors came on board, because the value of their investment wasn't going to go down. It's difficult for Hull when you don't own your own stadium.
But then I think there's also what Hull KR have done right is they've got the staff, which, and the fans forum for FC the other day, they mentioned about the staff not being right, but the staff for KR have progressed. The pre-season has been strong. They've had the same, 24 players. In terms of injuries, there's not anything too major, you know. So and that to me screams that the process that have been done right from the very start. So, and that's been 2 years now, going on 3 seasons of steady, progressive sustainability from KR, which means that they are being able to put out a similar team, which means they are being able to, all of their players are coming off. So it all starts, I think, from, that the hub of that and the buy-in from the staff and the players in pre-season and how fit and healthy and well the players go.
So they said some of the staff are, nothing better than a boss saying in public, some of the staff aren't that good. That's good.
I think it was more that there's been a change in staff and they've got the right staff now.
And the right structures.
And the right structures and the
people who clean
investment,
the stadium and
investment
in
the staff. But
we'll see what happens, won't we? We'll see what happens because the league table doesn't lie. Hull were getting criticised this year because they finished second bottom of the league. They didn't finish second bottom, did they? Yeah.
On points difference.
And nearly lost, and could have lost to London and could have finished bottom. And Derek would have loved that. He might have exploded if they'd have finished bottom.
Oh, God, love Derek.
I know, well, this is where we, let's not go over that. This is a happy studio. So.
Oh, come on.
I think Lee have been sensational getting building a club. I mean, how you go about it, whether you like to trumpet your achievements or do it quietly in the background. I think again, Lee are up to something like 7,000 season tickets. That's the most they've ever had in their history. So for all of the, you might not like some of the brashness around what they do. It's working. It's the people of Lee are buying into it.
Any press is good press for rugby league, and Lee do the press very well. They do PR, marketing, social media. The stuff that they get put out, the stuff that Derek puts out, is all attraction.
You're being marked on that now with the interaction. So
yes,
it's a fine line sometimes.
Yeah, when people are making comments about IMG and whether they like it or not, whether they rate the ratings and whether that's the right thing to do, I've never seen rugby league as publicised as it has been this year because it's a necessity. The rugby league, RFL are leading from the top. And all the clubs are having to do a little bit more.
IMG, their influence has been, yes, they bought in grading, but also the digital awareness around every club, which they have helped them to engage in.
Yeah. I was on a train to London, and the LED screen, whatever it is, had the Old Trafford thing, the grand final publicised on it. And I know that sounds minor to some people, but for me, that's more exposure.
Yeah, it's better than no.
It for every 10 people that see it, 2 might go, "Oh, what's that?"
You can guarantee that the first game of the first day of Magic Weekend, Lee versus Casans, there'll be plenty of people there because Lee will no doubt promote it heavily to their fan base, and they'll have a kit and everything, and that'll be good because usually the first game it's pretty.
It was good this year.
It's not. It's not the last game of the Sunday, isn't it?
Well, it's the biggest game of the weekend. Oh, everyone wants to see it. The Battle of Heath Common, Cass and Wakefield for the Ben Taylor Trophy. The winner gets to keep him. Before we get on to yesterday, Women's Super League. There's all these transfers. Well, not all these transfers around, is it? Because the Saints have just signed 3 players from Leeds.
Yeah.
What's happening at Leeds? They've lost all the players. That's what people keep telling me.
Is Hannah going to come back?
Who knows?
Because they've got a lot of youngsters now who will need guidance.
But they've also got, got the likes of Caitlin Beavers, who's out injured, but she's been in that since 2018. So Shannon Lacey's coming back, who has been riddled with injury, bless her, but has been around the squad. There are players in there that can lead a team, and I'm sorry about that academy coming through. We've seen it like Ruby Enright, she's been injured, but she was back. Ebony Stead that came in. The other girls that have stepped up and come through are outstanding because they've built the processes early. They're it's
Trust
all
the
about,
process.
Yeah, but it's all about buying into the club and what that is and what it means to be part of Leeds. And it's a shame.
Spirit of the Rhino.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I'm not afraid to say Caitlin Case. It's a shame she's come through that process, and there's a lot of speculation as to why she's gone across to St Helens.
Well, we said why last week because she's mates with Amy Harkins.
Yeah,
And they need a half.
And they need a half.
I don't know why people haven't worked this out. I've got no idea.
But the thing is, and
obvious.
that's not come from me. That's come from, the girls that are closer to that, and that's a shame. But do you know what I mean? Each to their own, and I hope she does well. I hope she goes on and progresses. She's looking to try and get into that England squad. Dec Hardman is the assistant coach for England. I'm surprised she's not had a sniff recently. She'll be struggling now with Izzy Rowe and Jen Fubister in because they've been outstanding and they're only 17. So the chances of her getting in, will going to Saints help her? Who knows? Amy and Shona wanted to come back over this way because they wanted less travel, and I know Amy said in her interview that Olivia's older now and she's more, self-sufficient, but it's still like on nights like this when the pre-season started, going across the M62, I wouldn't want to do it. There was whispers of them going to Wigan, but that was a lot of money being offered there, which is more understandable. Like if you've been offered a substantial amount of money to go and play on what might be the last couple of seasons of your career, then yeah, I probably would have taken it too. Had I been offered that much money to go play at Wigan, I'd have probably said, yeah, I'll push a season.
Well, there were plenty of stories the season before. Well, no, at the start of last season about Wigan looking at players from St Helens and trying to get them over, weren't they?
And
they
great.
didn't. So now Wigan are more established in that top 4.
And also
people
have
might be
some
more
youngsters coming through who
Again,
are making the grade.
Another really well run academy section. But yes, Wigan have had a load of money put in, and the women's team have had a lot of that. Like, I was not sceptical of Deddy Specs coming in, but seeing him around the girls, seeing how much the girls respect him, and seeing what he's brought, brilliant. Well done Wigan. Like, and that's the one thing I really rate is how the women's team has been developed, looked after, supported, and that's why they've done so well this season. Like their strength conditioning is better, their academy section is better. Half their team, the average age of that team must be no more than 22, 21, 22. And I know that Vic Molyneux's going to stay on and do another season, which is whether she's one more season or not. That's again a great leader to take them through. But you've got 17, 18-year-old girls that buy into the culture, buy into what Dennis wants to do, buy into the Wigan. And I'm hoping that they don't need to look too far afield. They don't really need to... Yes, they probably want a couple of... The pack probably needs to be a bit bigger because, a 30-year-old versus a 17-year-old is substantially different. But apart from that, I think I love what they're doing there. And, they're a team that you would understand people going to because they've got money to throw at people and the processes seem to be great. So, but... Yeah, good luck to the girls going, but I think for Leeds, that everyone's saying, Leeds don't have a team left. Leeds have also got a substantial amount of girls that have not played this season because of injury. They'll be back. But in true Leeds fashion, whether you're a Leeds Rhinos fan or not, they always get it done. They always manage to
Can't write off the Rhinos.
And I think Lois is brilliant, and Lois has developed half of that academy squad, so they know how Lois likes to coach. And she's on maternity leave, so Leon's doing a lot of it, but he and Lois have worked together such a long time. Let's see. It might be a case of, and respectfully to Amy and Shona, they've not got that many seasons left. They're not quite as fast or as fit as they used to be.
That's how I feel when I wake up in the morning. There's not many seasons left. Not as fast as I used to be.
No.
Talking of Leeds and coaching,
Yes.
Jamie Langley
Yes.
back for the men's team. Big coup for Rugby League because he's very, very highly rated in Rugby Union.
From Sale Snakes, come back over.
Has made a huge contribution wherever he's been, particularly at London Broncos. Incredibly highly thought of down there. Again, not notch for Rugby League to bring him back, but I think he'll make a big difference at Leeds.
Were you surprised at the changing coach at Saints when they've been so successful? Well, if no, right.
I'm surprised that they brought Declan Craig back in. But then I'm assuming that's a monetary thing because they're already in the club. So
yeah, you don't have to.
It was something that was pending.
Change of resource.
But I think Matty's done a great job there, and good luck to Wigan, to his academy at Wigan.
It's a great thing about the Dennis Betts thing at Wigan is, apart from Vicky Molyneux, none of the players will know who he was.
No,
because they've got no, they're too young. Not saying Vicky Molyneux's old, by the way.
I mean, she's cracking on a bit, isn't she?
But when I interviewed her last year, she obviously knew who he was. And these young people they don't know Dennis Betts. They've never seen him play before. When he was a pin-up in the adverts of the RFL, him and Ellery and Scoey. Is he row at 17? Was that when Scoey made his debut for Great Britain or something?
18, I think. Yeah.
It's great just to see young players just be really good and confident. I know people say
Not
it's
only
only
that,
Wales,
but also
but do it on
also
telly and stuff.
Credit to the management for picking them because too often we wait until we still call them young and when they're 23, and real talent needs to be exposed at the highest level about 18, 19.
Izzy Rowe against France versus Izzy Rowe against Wales was a completely different player, and that's come from a confidence at club level and the confidence from Stu Barrow and the girls at international level. Her performance against Wales was outstanding. I thought she really owned it. She took the ball to the line. Her kicking game, a lot of it went down that left edge, not very much went down the right. And the difference between France and Wales, Izzy Rowe was like a different player. And it is really nervous going out, flying out in a camp against a big team. That's a shot of Vegas for you there, but Izzy Rowe was outstanding for me.
So with this 7-4-5 thing,
yes,
we were there. You weren't. I mean, I can't believe it. So you've not seen it.
Double booked her right.
I know. Even Kevin Sinfield was there. He's
and Johnny was there.
Who?
Johnny Wilkinson. Don't be such a union hater. Don't be such a union hater.
I don't think I've said this on the programme. I've never seen his drop goal. I've never seen it. I've deliberately avoided it. So on the day I was asleep because I was working nights at the time, so I wasn't going to watch the game.
You're
live.
such a rugby union hater.
Yeah. There was a few of us in the press box yesterday. We were very much, me and Conrad Smith. We were very much of that opinion. Phil's a contentious dissenter or whatever it is, and he was very open to it.
Rugby's rugby.
It's not though. It's not. I mean, I was on my best behaviour because we interviewed Danny Cipriani afterwards. I could have asked him many and various things. Phil upset him. I didn't even ask him about the Otley run or anything.
Well, because I asked him if he enjoyed it because there was more space with 13 men on the field. Because one of the things that came across watching the game was how much the rugby union players enjoyed being able to handle the ball, which they're slightly restricted doing when there's more players on the field.
Two big fat blokes, yeah.
But he immediately responded with, "I created space."
That's a great answer, though. I'm sorry.
And we were like, well,
that is a great answer.
You may have done.
Maybe you did. We just never watched.
You might be the best player ever. We don't know.
We don't know.
Great answer.
But that was my job.
Go watch it. It's on YouTube.
Space.
Yeah.
It depends how you view it. I think there's three different ways of looking at it. The first thing is it was for a brilliant cause and it raised a lot of money. Yeah. And if it does nothing other than that, that's absolutely brilliant. And everybody who was there because they wanted to support that cause. The second thing was the players enjoyed playing in it. Now we're talking about legends of both codes. So again, you can't read too much into the fact other than it was great to see them. Some of them exhibited all of the skills that we know that they're renowned
Graham
for.
Stedman didn't look 60 when he was chasing down that.
62 Graham Stedman.
No.
But the other, Danny Maguire looked like he'd just stepped off a playing for Leeds in
Yeah.
2015, and he's back there supporting players, scoring 2 tries, winning a game, same smile on his face. We interviewed Billy 12 Trees.
He looked like
Love
he could
Billy
have, he
12
could
Trees.
he could have been a player. He could
But
have,
he just,
could
but
have-
he,
Great,
what they
jealous
wanted
of his
to
hair.
stress was how much they'd enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
great player as well, Billy.
And the third thing is there anything in it other than what we saw? And does it matter? And the answer to that is, if it begats more charity games, and they're talking about taking this one to Gloucester, that's great. If in 20 years' time this is a Kerry Packer moment for rugby, who knows? But I thought the danger was going to be we would turn up and it wouldn't be entertaining.
It would be rubbish.
However you defined entertaining.
Oh,
That it was-
yeah.
No, I think a lot of people went there and went, what are we going to see? And will it be, a bit of a comedy caper that everybody's trying to be too... No, there wouldn't be a competitive enough element to it. It was really entertaining. But we were watching rugby league.
Because the surprise was like the Union players running into the tackle and playing the ball.
The
Did it really well compared to where you think they would. Cause
The
obviously that's a completely different
physicality
skill.
of the Union players up front was surprising. Because again, rugby league, that's what we do well. Now they're handling, their ability to get wingers away, it's really impressive. The first try of the game, it's a lovely little offload from Cipriani, and Johnson went 50 metres straight through the rugby league, and you go,
very disappointing defence.
didn't really come here and expect to see that.
Yeah.
But what we saw was something that, if it was developed because top clubs, financiers, broadcasters were interesting to see a little bit more of that, as to whether that was a glimpse in the future, there actually was something there.
Yeah.
Where we could have just spent 80 minutes going, it's a bit of a knockabout, they're having fun.
Yeah,
and
but
they're
you're also forgetting, you're getting professionals,
really good.
ex-professionals together who have, regardless of how old you are and how long ago you retired, you're still competitive.
Oh, that was never in doubt. But what what would we actually see? And
Would
what
it be
was-
any good?
What we saw was vindication of the fact that rugby league is a better game, and if you play with 13 players, and if you play the ball was visible for 80 minutes. There was none of this. Oh, it's the dark arts.
Bantella didn't have to make up any penalties in the scrum because they're uncontested.
The 5 metres was interesting from all of those people that say we need to go back to it. What do we do next with this concept outside of just trying to create as much money and awareness as we can for MND? I'd be tempted to get 2 schools, maybe 2 university teams, 1 league, 1 union, to play under these hybrid rules. Maybe look at tightening them a little bit. But I think you mentioned it in both interviews to 12 Trees and Cipriani. How did it feel that you were basically playing rugby league?
We set them up.
And they loved it.
Because it wasn't rugby union. The only rugby union things was the line out, and they were uncontested as well, which would have been funny to see.
Having played
we'd
both,
have had no clothes.
I feel like I am well than my right to say it's like there's different skill sets for both, but league is naturally a slightly quicker game because you don't have the rucks and the mauls where you look like you're standing around for a lot. There's a lot of tactical, and there's lots of tactics and reasons to do all of that.
But I think all of that gets blown away when you've gone full-time professional. I think you can certainly make that distinction at community level, but at full-time elite level professional, 30 athletes on the pitch at one time is too many, and it encourages kicking rather than handling. The one thing that
Imagine if they played 15 aside at Hodsall.
The one thing I thought that was really encouraging was it was a handling entertainment. It wasn't a kicking one.
The only kicks were the kicks over the top, weren't they?
If you start factoring in concussions and head injuries and all that kind of thing, and you're taking players out and you're lessening the distance between them, suddenly you're coming up with something that is a little bit more fit for purpose in the modern day.
Because I still love rugby union though.
No, I
that's fine.
Yeah,
Some people like EastEnders.
I'm still speaking to 2 rugby league diehards, and I am that.
No,
but
Phil's more. He's more open to.
I think what we didn't experience anything other than a really good 80 minutes that we enjoyed, that raised a lot of money.
So for this purpose, it was great, but I think in the grand scheme, just leave them as they are.
The interesting thing is this could be a 1906 moment, because there's historical precedent for everything. And in the first 11 years of the Northern Union, it was called Northern Union because we played Union.
Yeah.
The rules were exactly the same. It was our decision to institute 13 players and to play the ball and to abolish the line out because we wanted to produce a spectacle that people would come and pay for. I think rugby union might have to realise that that's exactly what they've got to do at the
Yeah, no,
elite
but if you
level.
look at the spectator numbers at rugby union, they're not struggling, are they? Twickenham.
They're
was
not selling out.
25,000
They're not selling out.
spare tickets for the Wales game yesterday,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is bizarre in this era.
Wales.
And if you
Yeah, but we keep being told Wales is like rugby union country. It's not. It's a football country, like
Wales-
the
Wales
rest of the
Wales
country.
Australia.
if you look
It's never going to be a great game.
But if you look at the statements being made by World Rugby, there is an issue with finance in their game. It's equally as unsustainable at top club level and now in the money that is being needed at international level to feed the beast that they've created. Plus, the big thing, I think, is that broadcasters need something new. The rights amounts for both league, union and probably anything else. Well, even football, if you divide the number of games that are now being put on television by the rights that are being paid, it's actually less. So it sounds like it's billions, but what they're getting for those billions is more than they've ever got before. That's only going to continue unless you give them something new. And we may not, doesn't matter, have seen something that a broadcaster would be interested
I'm
in.
just a traditionalist, so...
I've got an idea coming up. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But if they did it again next year, would you play? Because we thought, in Soccer Aid, they let women play. I know it's a bit different in rugby because it's a contact sport.
Yeah, and it wasn't
But-
exactly like... They didn't hold off each other, did they?
No, so maybe what we thought pre-match and what we realise after the match is probably you couldn't do.
No,
Get some
I wouldn't-
celebrities.
I
on
wouldn't.
this.
Well, I think you could for a charity match. I think if your soul like
No,
soccer,
because as soon as you... And I don't mean to be disrespectful to women. As soon as you add women to that, it becomes what a farcical that you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It becomes the touch, the
Well-
grabby...
and I also
that
think
was-
that you can get celebrities involved if we've got some rugby.
Could do a
so-
female one, a female rugby union legends versus rugby league ones. You
And
know
like-
what I mean?
like-
It could be celebrity coaching.
But let's do as much as we can to raise as much money and awareness as we can. The interesting thing was there anything else behind that game that is worth developing? And I think you need to have another look at it.
Surprised didn't have the kits on sale. I don't think. I know this is.
Yeah, but then you can't produce
think
it
it-
in case it doesn't.
Well, I know, but Oxford
No.
sells so much England.
I just think it was arranged. They didn't-
You're on one today.
I'm not one
Are you on your
they
period?
did.
they you can
Imagine
say
if,
that.
imagine
No,
if
you
I
can
said
say
that.
that's
Imagine if
perfectly acceptable.
I said that. I'd
Oh
be
my God,
banned.
I'll just keep biting.
I'd be throwing. You'd be sending me to the rugby league. What they're called?
I won't, 'cause I'll probably walk in and say, don't annoy me today, because I am.
What are they called? The
The match review.
diversity. The diversity people.
inclusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We know, mind you, we know someone on that panel, so we might get off.
I'm the least precious person in this.
Yeah, but
Place.
the people out there might be.
It'd be interesting to know from
All
both of
12 people.
our watchers
Yeah.
if anybody was there and what they thought of it. Because clearly, diehards on both sides are going to say there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
I just think that at some point in history, and it might be long after I'm not here, because I'm a lot older than you are,
Are you?
there might be a divergence back, and at some point in history we'll say in 1895 it broke away. Some point in history might say in 2085 it came back together, and everything starts with the step.
Can we just join football? They've got loads of money. It's on football.
Well, this is the other thing about football.
NFL.
Everybody thinks the European soccer league is dead. It isn't. It just was done in such a cack-handed manner that if that's what broadcasters want, and that's going to remunerate the players more than they're being at the moment, that's going to fill the stadiums of the top teams. It'll go that way. Nothing will stop it.
Should have been streamed. Should have been streamed and people charged for it in the way that Super League Plus had the. I know there are probably reasons why it wasn't, but I don't know about them. So I'm coming from this perspective of.
Again, I
don't
think
know
they
anything.
wanted to preserve the number of people that were turning up.
But people in Leicester aren't going to go up to Leeds, and
There
people.
were a
in-
few people out
There
from
were
Gloucester
But not all.
behind us.
But not all of them.
There were some
might
people
have been
from Gloucester.
curious.
And
Next year they probably will because they've heard about how great it was.
Well, and
they'll
I
watch
also
it.
think that the next one will probably be in Gloucester, which will be interesting.
Is is Gloucester a long way away?
It's 4.5 hours.
No. Well, yeah. Stream it next year, please. We'll pay a fiver for it.
We'll be going.
Phil will be driving you down.
We'll be going.
You staying in the back as well.
Got my car back now, it's fine.
Binned off.
No, but the good thing is we might get a car park pass.
No, that's true.
That's what I'm here for.
I mean, you could be on the TV broadcast because you've got a foot, as you say, in both camps. You know, that's. Are you unique in that?
I think it's a developable
Female-wise,
idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And
they always have,
me and Andrew Dobson.
yeah. Are you not in for the Gary Lineker's job? Are you?
No, Alex Scott's already got it.
Is she? Quick down to the. It's for the bookies. So here's my idea.
It's already been announced.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well,
Has it?
Yeah.
I thought Kelly Cates was up for it.
the people watching the match of the day anyway.
Yeah.
All the goals are like at 5 o'clock. You
Yeah.
can see them.
No, it's
Illegally streaming
a
them.
tradition for people of a certain age to sit there on a Saturday night. Watch match of the day.
Does anyone watch telly anymore? Do you watch any telly? Watch anything good recently? I need to film a column
Need
next
to
month.
ask
I've got
you about
nothing to put in it.
Strictly.
Not Strictly.
Hmm.
What about
Who's
it?
going to win it?
I don't know.
I thought you were. No,
I don't really.
Surely
watch
you
TV.
must be- you
I watched
must-
the boxing the other day.
Oh, I don't want to talk.
there wasn't any boxing.
Oh, the Katie Taylor fight was brilliant.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
problem is they didn't stop the reporting of the event after that point because they should have done. Because the thing afterwards wasn't sport.
But millions of people streamed it.
Right.
Yeah, but-
At the end of the day,
It's
they've
entertaining.
put together a spectacle. They've changed a few of the rules. They've changed it up. Netflix have put out a really good production. Even Eddie Hearn was like, "This is decent." Mike Tyson, who's 30 years older, just got 20 mil. Jake Paul, who's a bit of a joke, got 40 mil.
I was thinking of another word, but you know,
yeah,
fair enough.
got 40 mil.
Can't stand his brother.
He
either.
didn't win because he fought somebody who was 30 years older. That I think Mike Tyson threw 17 punches in 10 rounds. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But it went 10 rounds.
yeah, it went 10. Instead of
But
12
you
rounds
see,
of 3,
what
it
you're
was 10
just
rounds of
talking
2.
about, that you're validating that as an event, is exactly the point I'm making about hybrid rugby.
I'm not validating it as an event. I'm justifying the fact that there was no way in God's green earth that was going to be a proper fight.
But
a
how-
30-year-old
so-
difference.
But how many people tuned in? That's the modern world, isn't it?
Yeah, well, exactly. But
Why would Netflix
Jake-
buy an event like that when
because
they could
Jake
have the
Paul's-
heavyweight championship of the world?
because they changed the rules and they made it. That's the whole contention now, isn't it? That they changed the boxing, whatever the
It's like,
international laws are.
professional wrestling.
But
But that's not.
Or hybrid rugby?
they've used Jake Paul and all of his YouTube streamers and all his ridiculous amount of millions of
Burks, yeah.
followers, you know, and put on a spectacle. And that people have liked Jake Paul who didn't have Netflix have all bought it now, or you know, people who love Mike Tyson, who is one of the greatest fighters of all time. You tuned in. How many people?
One of the greatest ear biters of all time, you say?
Listen, I'm on the negative on the show. Let's just support people. However, Katie Taylor Amanda fight was outstanding. Went right to the wire.
Yep.
Again, 2 minutes, 10 rounds. I preferred it because I think 3 minutes you get a little bit more fatigue going on. So in terms of entertainment and keeping it spicy and punchy, I thought those were great. And I watched
Spicy and
it.
punchy. Two of the.
The ones that didn't make the Spice Girls, yeah.
A nod to our older listeners there. I'm sure the 745 game. Anyway, what we've got to do, right? So he's.
Oh, it's the embargo pass.
Oh yeah, well I'll come to that in a minute because I want to clip this out as a whole bit, and if I put that in, it'll spoil it. So
I'm just reminding you.
I know. Oh, Conrad Hurrell's re-signed for St Helens. There it is.
Yeah. That's it.
They needed a mascot for this year. You know, he did such a great job with Tonga last year, so he's their mascot. For
They
this
should
year.
have been in the mascot race.
Yeah, that was a fix.
You
as
love
well.
the mascot
I
race.
don't need to put. Well, it's had about 10,000 views on Twitter. So up yours, Elon Musk. 745 game, right? Is where we go. We got to. I mean, would we go to Twickenham?
Yeah.
Would
I've
we be
been to
allowed?
Twickenham.
Yeah.
I've been to a cup
I've
final.
played
at
there
Twickenham.
3 times
Yeah.
when I played rugby union.
I know you used to play rugby. It's like something of the Jeremy
Johnny
Kyle
Vidal
show.
gave-
I
Johnny
used to play
Vidal's-
rugby. I
gave him
used to
my
play
medal.
rugby. Johnny Vidal, what?
Gave him my medal.
You know what?
So he's another reason why
I shouldn't admit.
diehards don't like rugby.
You know, I shouldn't admit this on the podcast, but I think he's a very good broadcaster. Just not when rugby league's involved, because he always, sneered at us. But in fairness, in the 2000 World Cup, we gave him plenty of opportunities to sneer.
Which is a much maligned competition that actually had some very good points attached to it, other than the fact that it nearly sent us bankrupt.
Well, it's now that all our listeners know.
Anyway, back on the 745.
Yeah, so we go to
Yeah,
Twickenham.
so we're
right,
going to clip this. So where do we go?
from before,
Right.
because it's this whole discussion, right? So after the last idea, which was the All-Star get Luke Littler to pick a team thing, which doesn't seem to have gone down well, but we're not doing that all Yorkshire Lancashire next year. you remember the Charity Shield? So we kind of bring that back, but it's the 745 Shield. We've already made it, so we've got the trophy. We don't have to make another trophy. Why did the women not get a trophy after beating Wales when England played 2 tests against Samoa and got a trophy? That's something else you need to sort out.
Can you just clip the 745 game? Come on.
So the 745 game, right? We're going to play it at Twickenham.
Right.
Because they've got a stadium and we haven't got one, apart from Odsal.
Right, carry on. Yep.
The champions of Super League, who are currently Wigan Warriors.
Yep.
You've heard of them. They're quite good. Versus the champions of the Rugby Union thing, which I understand are Northampton.
Yep.
Premiership winners.
Premiership winners.
Northampton Saints.
Yep.
With Lee Radford
Saints
as
versus
assistant coach.
Saints versus Wigan. Under the 745 rules for the trophy and make loads of money for charity.
Interesting.
Can you put that to the board, please?
No, probably not, but interesting. Listen, people keep coming to me and trying to get me to... If you want the RFL's email address, I'll happily give it out, but...
Information at rfl.com.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting because...
It would be a farce because, you know, the rules are set up to be very much rugby league. So
Why
if
would
Wigan
it be
didn't... Well, it'd not be a farce, but I would expect Wigan would win. If the players took it
but then
seriously.
what, would you go 15 players or 13?
Because we're playing 745 rules.
The other thing about that, though, is that the Rugby Union people weren't blown away yesterday. So the rules might have been more familiar.
It was better than the Wigan Bath nonsense.
Well, yeah, if you play a rugby league team playing Rugby Union rules, they're going to lose, and vice versa.
Yeah.
This was something where both codes got something
Yeah,
out
I
of it.
don't think you can... You can't make it an official thing. You know, the winners of winners.
I think,
Well, they're not become like the champions of all rugby. We're not the NFL.
I think
they
those clubs would want
trophy.
to see whether there was any merit. I think the broadcast
Yeah, but it was
would love it.
it's quite nice to see your old legends come back. Like, how good was it to see that picture of Danny Maguire
Oh, yeah.
scoring a try? Adrian, yeah, like...
Did we find out who bled on Kylie Lilloye's shirt? There was blood.
It was. I think I saw Dave O'Sullivan, who used to be the physio for England men. He was the physio yesterday with Gemma doing the doctor and stuff. I think there was 5 torn hamstrings he had to work with yesterday.
There were 2 very early on. Ryan Atkins went off very early, and then Matt Diskin.
Yeah.
But there was much laughter among their own teammates.
Yeah,
I think they all knew there but for it could have been them.
Loves the Toby Carvery does Ryan, so he might have just thought, get off early. Going to Sunday.
Well, it was Sunday lunch.
Yeah. It's one for people with long memories.
10,000 attendance was
So
superb.
we could get that at Twickenham.
No, you
'Cause-
can't.
I know, that's what I mean.
honestly, right,
I think
I
it was
back
like-
you on a lot of stuff. I just don't think that works.
Oh, well,
In my personal opinion,
fair enough.
I like the charity legend. I think you get more people coming to see. You know, for me, like Danny Cipriani, Billy 12 Trees, and then every time somebody retires, then next year, you know.
Well, that's the good thing about this is that
Although Paul McShane hasn't retired, so technically he shouldn't have played.
Because this was the first year, the players will go back to other fellow legends or whatever. Because I think it'd be fair to say that the Union team it wasn't as. I'm not saying this is a. I'm not saying this is a league
Mike
person.
Tyndall, James Haskell, and
Yeah, I'm not saying this is a league person, but
Yeah.
the Union team it wasn't as full of names that we would recognise.
unless you're a Union fan.
Yeah, and even then, I think you might have to do a bit of thinking. But now we go back. Here's year 2, and we're going to have it in Gloucester or whatever, or we'll have 2 games or whatever. But more people will say, "Oh, I want to play in that," because they know their mates had a great time last year. Everyone.
But then, like you say,
went on the
people
pop
who watch the Union, if the Union boys or the Union fans didn't enjoy it as much, and you've got to then think about how do you then adapt it to make sure that they're... Because the Union, you know, media might be thinking of what you thought before the game.
Something.
I think the future is 13 aside for both codes.
You just want 13 aside.
Saves money. And 4020 is in Rugby Union, so then we can...
There
might
were
buy the magazine.
40-20s yesterday. Somebody very nearly kicked one.
People might buy the magazine by mistake and then subscribe, which would be even better. So yeah, it was a good day was had by all.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things that can come out of it.
Or nothing, but it doesn't
nothing.
matter. I just think it's promoting the kind of debate that is...
Yeah.
You just have to freshen
Interesting.
up the legends every year because otherwise it becomes
yeah.
I've seen them come back once. I don't really want to see them again, which is a bit harsh, but you know,
but
because when they're not as good as they were, and you want
in rugby league, there's plenty, isn't there? And like I say, every year somebody new retires. So
the great thing was yesterday, it never tailed off, did it? Because it starts up there, and then you have unlimited interchange, and it becomes a bit of a you pass to me, I pass to you. Oh, we've scored a try, and it ends up 78, 76, and everybody goes, "What's the point of that?" It never lessened in genuine competitive high skill level, entertaining watch for 80 minutes, and if it's nothing other than that, it achieved its purpose.
And do you know, at the end of the day, it raised loads of money, loads of people turned up. Great occasion.
Got a lot of media exposure as well.
Great occasion for the MND community. You know, that whole thing we keep saying about banging the drum, you know, for Doddy, like to see Hamish Weir on the... Like, I've spent a few days with Hamish Weir. What a great...
Was he the brother who got beaten up by Barry McDermott?
Yeah.
Yes, but Barry and Hamish know each other really well now, so...
Well, I didn't think it was... I thought
this was
a bit like
Barry's
Logan.
boy.
I thought this was like Logan Paul and Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
It might have been a bit contrived.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it was on the level.
Hamish would have like done something like dirty to get round him anyway. Would never played fair. You know, and like having Jeff's name on the bench and stuff
Marcus
like that.
Stewart's sons were there as well, which again is a lovely touch that probably we didn't make enough of.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? The awareness that this is continuing to spread, and that's ultimately what you go back down to. Whether the game was great or not, whether the skill was great or not, whether the whatever. At the end of the day, it's again another boost of awareness.
Yes,
the publicity it's got, the people that were there, the reason, the cause, wherever you want to go, be cheesy or whatever you want to sound like, but that's what it was meant to do. And like massive shout out to Phil Daly at Leeds, you know, who has been behind this with Rob, you know, from the start. And I think the stuff that Phil does often goes not unnoticed, but he doesn't often get the credit that he fully deserves. And you know, to try and have to find sponsors and for people to sponsor everything.
Well, you mentioned it, didn't you? When was the last time Shaw Land Rover on the advertising at Headingley?
Yeah, so...
Probably when the Tykes played there. But that would have been seen by 3 people.
But, you know, so I think, regardless of whatever you think of the rules and the spectacle of it, I think just well done.
But if it wasn't entertaining, people wouldn't want to go back and see it next year. That's the thing. And the fact,
the fact that
people who were there would want to go see it again next year.
It has built momentum, and that can go forward now, so yeah.
What's next for Danica Prim, or Prim as they say on the... You've seen on the scoreboard at Leeds where they do that Guess Who thing and just spell your name wrong. Have you not seen it?
No.
Let me find it because I took a picture of it.
Oh, what? Guess Who?
Yeah, there's like you, Georgia Hale, who played how many games?
She's back in Leeds this week.
Played for about 3 minutes, and I'll find... What's next for you while I find this picture?
Well...
I thought I'd have sent this to you.
No longer a teacher, so I've spent some time travelling.
Is that it now? You
looking to do a little bit more of that. Gonna go find some winter sun, and then got a few bits and pieces on corporate wise, which is
bit of corporate,
a bit of corporate stuff.
I could have shown you the picture of me with the vixen from the chase, but I found that.
What's that for? Guess Who?
Yeah, because look on the other picture. Who could that be?
Not great for the podcast.
Who is that?
Yeah, sorry guys, it's just a picture of me.
Danica. But she's blurred.
When was that?
That was on the 1st of September. So that was the Leeds York game when I interviewed your mate Kelsey. I think something about 5 years ago.
Shout out to Kelsey. So just a bit of this. I'm just finding my new feet in this new life I've got now. So.
What, the semi-retired world we call self-employment? Or,
yeah, it's a scary world, is freelance world.
It is.
Scary world, but if I didn't jump and give it a shot now.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
And do you know what? If I do miss teaching, then the supply is always a potential at the minute. But
they always need teachers, it says on the telly.
Right now, I am just really enjoying...
Well, you've sacrificed a lot. You're getting some of it.
You don't like that word?
No, I don't like that word.
But you have.
It's been a very busy couple of years since retirement.
But when you become a
I thought you meant retirement from teaching.
Elite sports person, you have to make a lot of sacrifices to get to the level that you got to.
Yeah.
So it's payback.
So basically, yeah, I figured this out. This is the first time since I was 3 that I've not been involved in education. In either, obviously, going through school, my 2 university degrees.
Well, I do think bloody hell, start up young, don't.
So yeah, at the minute, I'll be honest with you. Last week, I came back from holiday and I've just been responding to a few emails. I've got a few meetings. I'm going to the opening of the Sixes, the new bar in Headingley, which is a cricket bar. You can go play cricket there in the nets.
Is that where Manhattan?
Yes, it was. Yes, that is on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of running. I'm trying to get fit. Well, I'm yet to enter a race, but I potentially might do. I might do York half marathon because it's around the racecourse.
Oh,
so
fair.
Flat.
but yeah, they don't do jumps at York.
Do they count the laps as well? Can you sneak an extra?
Exactly.
Just don't be one of those people who put the park run times on Facebook because it's like.
I might just do that now to annoy you.
To annoy me, yeah, but I'll just.
I've not done a park run. No.
I mean, it's a very noble thing, but I'm not interested.
No, I just putting a podcast
Well done.
on and then going for a run. It's really like
What podcast do you listen to?
I listen to all sorts.
All the podcasts.
I listen to all sorts of podcasts, which is, you don't really speak about, like, not mental health because it's not the thing, but the release of just going for a run and listening to somebody else in your head so you have to concentrate on that and not think about anything else going on. It's really quite refreshing. I even went today when it was freezing.
Well,
I need some gloves. I need to know where to get some good running gloves from because my fingers were
Oxen
cold.
probably. I used to listen to podcasts all the time on my MP3 player because my phone, I can't be trusted with the headphones because they break all the time. So I thought, right, I'll just get a little MP3 player, which is great. Battery ran out of it, put it in my pocket, forgot about it, put it in the washing machine. So now my mental health is suffering because I can't listen to podcasts anymore.
Well, you can watch this one back and all sorts of streams.
Yeah. And cats and dogs and stuff.
Any questions for anyone before?
No, because how far away is Phil, says Andy. Because you are sat back, aren't you?
I like leaning back. And I'm just
that
umpiring,
far back?
umpiring between the two of you.
I can't lean back because it makes my stomach look bigger. And
I've got good posture, so I can't lean.
Well,
I can't wait to open the biscuit.
Open the biscuits, Phil.
Is
Crack
that
them
it?
open.
Is that it? We done? Yeah. So you come back on at some point in the future
Absolutely.
with your chains.
Oh, I knew that was coming. I nearly said it before you did.
Are you going to?
No, I'm not.
We're not going to
I'm
wear
in my
them.
health
It's
era.
not like when the Yorkshire League trophy was here and we had pictures of it. It's not going to take pictures with the chains or anything or defile the office.
Do you want my Strictly trophy to put on your table?
Oh, you won that, didn't you? Yeah. I forgot that. That's my bit.
Do you want a big glitter ball trophy?
Yeah.
I'm being deadly serious.
Yeah. Do you not like it? Is it?
No, I do like
Is it
it.
a bugger to polish? Or?
No, I do like it. It's very big though. It's sparkly.
Yeah.
Just adds a bit of.
That goes well.
Stick it in front of Phil's head.
Bit of
Fine.
glass.
It's the same size as Phil's head. It's huge.
Yeah.
I could perhaps sit in it,
Yeah, you could.
have a bath in it.
Have you got any other ambitions then apart from? Do you want to be on normal Strictly or? Because you're at a level of. You see, the thing is, right. I've been on the radio for 20 years. Right? I don't want to be famous. I just wanted to be on the radio. I don't know why. Just innate thing that I wanted to be on the radio, and I am. So it's great. But I don't want to be famous or anything. But you're on actual telly.
Yes, but
I've seen you on the telly.
Yeah, no, but I don't do it for fame or
No,
clout.
but
I just
because
really
you're
enjoy
on
doing
telly,
it.
you could be on things like
I know, yeah,
Strictly or
Yeah, but that would catapult you into a different level.
celebrity first dates with, I don't know.
Listen, being in the jungle, I'm watching it now, and it's one of my favourite reality TV programmes, but the snake comes on the screen and I'm like, everything else but the snakes. Could do everything else, but the idea, the money would be nice, let's be fair, but the actual, I don't do any of this for the clout, I just really love being involved. It's good people.
Yeah.
Good bunch of people, lots of fun days out.
Living the dream, innit? It's better than having a proper job, isn't it? This is
Yeah.
If you had to give out careers advice, you just say, just don't bother. Just
do whatever you want.
Just be good at something and then get on the
as
telly.
long as you enjoy it, you'll never work a day in your life. Cliche.
Doesn't feel like that when I'm doing my tax returns. That's the thing. So I don't want to pay them. Is that it? I think.
Well, I've opened the biscuits already.
Yeah, we'll have some biscuits.
On that note.
We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, you will.
The magazine's out.
It is.
It's out now. Look, it's got Dom Young on the front. Rugby Union's Dom Young on the front.
Odds on the back as well for Super League next year. Interesting.
Hull 40-1, Wakefield 60. Surely Hull have come in now because all their fans will have gone down to see Fred and said, well, it's on, lads. It's on. Make us the favourites. We got all our cash now. Harry Enfield's coming in. Loads of money.
We've got validation for roles.
Validation. 66-1. Not even I'm not that stupid.
Right.
Right, we're done. We'll see you next week. I think is the final one.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's the end of the season.
Well, there's the Wheelchair Internationals at the weekend.
So we'll do
we're
our season review next week, and then I've got to arrange some
I'll
guests.
get some more biscuits.
Yeah, season. Yeah. Well, we'll leave the party rings here for next week. They should still be in date.
We'll have a party next week.
Yeah, we'll have a party next week. So join us for a party next week. Monday, you here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monday at 6. You know where to be.
Goodbye, Ronnie.
Thanks for watching. Oh yeah. Oh, thanks for reminding me. There he is. Is he your favourite?
He was cheated yesterday.
He was cheated out of the mascot race. It was disgraceful. Just gonna keep. Just leave it on for about 5 hours. I'll turn the mics off.